Hello there, and welcome to the Gentle Hours channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. Maybe tonight, your thoughts keep drifting toward the unknown, toward the vast and hidden places beneath the surface. Or maybe you're simply drawn to mysteries that live where light cannot reach. Either way, you're in the right place. There's nothing you need to do now but rest. Let your breathing slow, your body soften, and your thoughts drift. Because tonight, we're descending into the deepest parts of the ocean. We're journeying toward the farthest point on Earth, the Mariana Trench, and asking what lives, what survives, and what remains hidden in the crushing darkness below. We'll move gently from shallow seas to the abyssal plains, from bioluminescent creatures to pressures that would shatter steel, from ancient vents to alien worlds right here on our planet. Some of what you hear tonight may surprise you, unsettle you, or simply drift through your mind like currents in the deep. And if these calm explorations help you unwind or spark your curiosity as you drift towards sleep, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. Now, let's begin. The ocean is the largest living space on Earth, yet it remains more mysterious than the surface of Mars. We've mapped the moon in extraordinary detail. We've sent rovers to Mars, probes to Jupiter, and telescopes to the edge of the observable universe. But here on Earth, beneath the waves that crash on every shore, there exists a world we've barely glimpsed. The ocean holds 99% of Earth's living space by volume. It regulates our climate, produces more than half the oxygen we breathe, and contains ecosystems so strange they might as well be alien. And yet, we know more about distant planets than we do about the deepest trenches, the coldest currents, the creatures that drift through midnight waters just a few miles from land. The ocean is right here, beneath us, around us, and still it keeps its secrets. The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth, but we've explored less than 5% of it. Most of the ocean floor remains unmapped, unseen, and unknown. We've sent more missions to space than to the deepest parts of our own seas. The technology required to withstand crushing pressure, navigate utter darkness, and endure corrosive chemistry is still being developed, refined, and tested. More people have stood on the moon than have descended to the deepest point in the ocean. And so, beneath every crashing wave, beneath the sunlight dancing on the surface, there stretches a world far stranger than anything we've imagined. Silent, dark, and alive in ways we're only beginning to understand. The ocean contains 97% of Earth's water. Rivers, lakes, ice caps, and underground aquifers hold only a tiny fraction of the planet's water. The vast majority is in the ocean, circulating in currents, evaporating into clouds, and raining back down in an endless cycle. This water has been here for billions of years, cycling through the atmosphere, through living organisms, through rock and soil, and back to the sea. Every drop you drink has passed through the ocean. Every breath of humidity carries its memory. We are not separate from the sea. We are part of its cycle. the ocean produces more than half the oxygen we breathe. Phytoplankton, microscopic photosynthetic organisms drifting in surface waters, generate more oxygen than all the world's forests combined. These tiny organisms use sunlight to convert carbon dioxide into organic compounds, releasing oxygen as a byproduct. Trillions upon trillions of them, invisible to the naked eye, working constantly. When you take a breath, thank the ocean. Thank the microscopic life floating in sunlit shallows, sustaining the atmosphere, making life on land possible. Some parts of the ocean are deeper than mountains are tall. The Mariana Trench, the deepest known point in the ocean, plunges nearly 11,000 meters below sea level. To put that in perspective, if you placed Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, at the bottom of the trench, its summit would still be over 2 kilometers underwater. This depth is hard to fathom. It represents an environment more extreme than any place on land, where darkness is absolute, pressure is crushing, and life exists in forms we are only beginning to discover. The ocean's depths are not empty.
Full of mystery.
They are full
Full of wonders we have yet to name. The ocean regulates Earth's climate. Ocean currents distribute heat around the planet, carrying warm water from the equator toward the poles, and cold water from the poles toward the tropics. This circulation moderates temperatures, making much of the Earth habitable. Without the ocean, coastal regions would experience far more extreme temperature swings. Winters would be colder, summers hotter, and weather patterns more chaotic. The ocean is not just a body of water, it is the planet's thermostat, its climate engine, its stabilizing force. Most of the ocean floor remains unmapped, unseen, and unknown. We've sent more missions to space than to the deepest parts of our own seas. The technology required to withstand crushing pressure, navigate utter darkness, and endure corrosive chemistry is still being developed, refined, and tested. More people have stood on the moon than have descended to the deepest point in the ocean. And so, beneath every crashing wave, beneath the sunlight dancing on the surface, there stretches a world far stranger than anything we've imagined. Silent, dark, and alive in ways we're only beginning to understand. Light disappears entirely just a few hundred meters below the surface. As you descend, the ocean absorbs light wavelength by wavelength. Red vanishes first, then orange, then yellow. By the time you reach 200 meters, even blue has faded, leaving only the faintest trace of green. Below 600 meters, there is no sunlight at all. No photosynthesis, no plants, no color as we understand it. What remains is the midnight zone, a realm of permanent darkness stretching for miles in every direction. And yet, life doesn't stop. It adapts, it glows, it waits. In this blackness, the absence of light is not the end. It's the beginning of something else. The pressure at the ocean's deepest point is more than 1,000 times greater than at the surface. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, nearly 11 kilometers down, the pressure is over 1,000 atmospheres. That's the equivalent of 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of your body. Steel crumples, glass shatters, air pockets collapse instantly. Even the most advanced submersibles must be built with titanium hulls and reinforced spheres just to survive the descent. And yet, in this crushing environment, creatures not only survive, they thrive. Amphipods, snailfish, and microbes live where the weight of the ocean should make life impossible. Pressure, it seems, is not a wall. It's a filter. And what passes through is tougher than we ever imagined. The Mariana Trench is the deepest place on Earth, and it's still largely unexplored. The Challenger Deep, the lowest point in the Mariana Trench, lies nearly 11,000 meters beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. If you placed Mount Everest at the bottom, its peak would still be over 2 kilometers underwater. Only a handful of people have ever descended to this depth. The first were Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh in 1960, aboard the Trieste. The second was filmmaker James Cameron in 2012. Since then, a few others have followed, but the journey remains rare, dangerous, and brief. Each descent reveals something new. Strange, pale creatures, fields of microbial mats, ghostly, translucent fish drifting in the darkness. The trench is not a barren void. It's a frontier, quiet and patient, waiting for us to return. Many deep-sea creatures create their own light through bioluminescence. In the absence of sunlight, life has learned to glow. Over 90% of creatures in the deep ocean produce light through chemical reactions inside their bodies. Some use it to lure prey, dangling glowing appendages like lanterns in the dark. Others flash to startle predators or communicate with their own kind. Still others coat themselves in bioluminescent bacteria, becoming living constellations drifting through black water. The anglerfish is perhaps the most famous, with its luminous lure extending from its forehead, drawing smaller fish toward jaws that snap shut in an instant. The vampire squid glows along its arms, pulsing with light when threatened. Down here, light is not passive. It's a tool, a weapon, a language spoken in flashes and pulses. The ocean's depths are not dark. They shimmer with a strange, living radiance. The giant squid, long believed to be a myth, can grow longer than a school bus. For centuries, sailors spoke of the massive tentacles. They were dismissed as legend, exaggeration, drunken fantasy. But the giant squid is real. With eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest in the animal kingdom, and arms lined with toothed suckers, these creatures can reach lengths of over 13 meters. They hunt in the midnight zone, chasing fish and smaller squid through the blackness. No one has ever seen a living giant squid in its natural habitat, until recently. The first footage was captured in 2004, and even then, only briefly. They remain elusive, powerful, and deeply mysterious. In the ocean's depths, myths don't always dissolve. Sometimes they surface. Hydrothermal vents release superheated water rich with minerals, creating entire ecosystems without sunlight. On the ocean floor, where tectonic plates pull apart, seawater seeps into cracks in the Earth's crust, heats to extreme temperatures, and erupts back into the ocean as shimmering plumes of mineral-rich water. These hydrothermal vents, often called black smokers or white smokers, depending on the minerals they release, can reach temperatures exceeding 400 degrees Celsius. And yet, clustered around them are some of the most vibrant ecosystems on the planet. Tube worms, some growing over 2 meters long, sway in the current.
Blind shrimp swarm in pale clouds. Crabs, mussels, and bacteria blanket the rock. These ecosystems do not depend on the sun. They run on chemosynthesis, where bacteria convert chemicals from the vents into energy. It's life powered by the Earth itself, sustained by heat and chemistry and time. Here, in the crushing dark, the planet breathes, and life gathers to listen. The ocean floor has mountain ranges longer than any on land. The mid-ocean ridge system stretches over 65,000 kilometers around the globe, making it the longest mountain range on Earth. It runs through every ocean, marking the boundaries where tectonic plates pull apart. Along these ridges, magma rises from the mantle, creating new oceanic crust. The ridges are dotted with volcanoes, hydrothermal vents, and fracture zones. Most of this vast mountain system has never been seen by human eyes. It exists in total darkness, mapped only by sonar. Home to ecosystems we are only beginning to explore. The ocean's geography is more dramatic than anything on land. We just can't see it. Some bacteria can survive in superheated water. Near hydrothermal vents, where water temperatures exceed 400 degrees Celsius, hyperthermophilic bacteria thrive. These organisms live at temperatures that would boil most life away. Their proteins, cell membranes, and DNA have evolved to remain stable under extreme heat. Some even require these temperatures to survive, dying if the water cools. These bacteria may represent some of the earliest forms of life on Earth, descendants of organisms that evolved near ancient vents billions of years ago. In the deep, heat is not death. For some, it is home. The ocean contains vast underwater waterfalls and rivers. Differences in temperature and salinity create boundaries between water masses, and along these boundaries, denser water can cascade down underwater slopes like waterfalls. The Denmark Strait Cataract between Greenland and Iceland is the largest known underwater waterfall. Cold, dense water plunges nearly 3.5 kilometers down, carrying an estimated 5 million cubic meters of water per second, far more than any waterfall on land. These underwater rivers and falls are invisible from the surface, but they shape ocean circulation, distribute nutrients, and connect ecosystems across vast distances. The ocean is not still. It flows within itself, layered and dynamic, full of motion we cannot see. Some jellyfish are larger than humans. The lion's mane jellyfish can grow bells over 2 meters in diameter, with tentacles extending more than 30 meters. These giants drift through cold northern waters, trailing curtains of stinging arms behind them. Despite their size, they are fragile, composed mostly of water and delicate tissue. They pulse gently through the ocean, capturing small fish and plankton with their venomous tentacles. In the ocean, size is not always about strength. Sometimes it's about maximizing surface area for feeding, or creating a presence too large to be easily consumed. The deep ocean is a desert compared to coastal waters. Sunlit coastal zones are rich with nutrients, supporting dense populations of plankton. But the deep ocean, particularly the abyssal plains, is nutrient poor. Food in the deep comes mostly from marine snow, organic particles drifting down from the surface. This slow rain of detritus
supports sparse populations of scavengers and filter feeders. Life in the deep is not abundant. It is rare, widely scattered, and patient. But it is there, always there, waiting in the dark. Some fish can see in near total darkness. The eyes of deep-sea fish are often enormous relative to their body size, maximizing their ability to capture the faintest traces of light. Some species have tubular eyes that point upward, scanning for bioluminescent prey. Others have reflective layers behind their retinas, doubling the light that passes through. These adaptations allow fish to see in conditions where human eyes would perceive nothing but blackness. In the deep, vision is not about seeing clearly, it's about seeing at all. Here, in the crushing dark, the planet breathes, and life gathers to listen. Some fish have transparent skulls, allowing you to see their brains. The barrel eye fish is one of the strangest creatures in the deep. Its head is encased in a transparent dome, filled with clear fluid, and through it, you can see directly into its skull. Its tubular eyes point upward, scanning the faint glow of bioluminescent prey drifting above. When it spots something, it rotates its eyes forward to track and strike. This adaptation allows it to maximize light detection in near total darkness, while protecting its delicate eyes from the stinging tentacles of jellyfish. In the deep ocean, evolution doesn't follow familiar rules. It experiments. It bends. It creates forms that seem impossible until you see them drifting, silently, through the black. The ocean floor is covered in marine snow, a constant, gentle fall of organic debris. If you could sit at the bottom of the ocean and watch, you would see a slow, endless drift of particles falling from above. Bits of dead plankton, fecal matter, mucus, and fragments of larger creatures descending like soft snow. This marine snow is the primary food source for many deep-sea organisms. Scavengers, filter feeders, and bottom dwellers depend on this rain of nutrients to survive. It can take weeks or even months for particles to drift down from the surface to the abyssal plains. And as they fall, they're consumed, broken down, recycled, and transformed. The deep ocean doesn't hunt, it waits. It catches what falls. It makes use of what drifts down. There is a quiet patience to life in the depths. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is rushed. Some species of jellyfish are immortal, capable of reverting to earlier life stages indefinitely. The Turritopsis dornii, often called the immortal jellyfish, has a remarkable ability. When injured, starved, or stressed, it can reverse its aging process, transforming back into a polyp and beginning its life cycle again. It's not invincible. It can still be eaten, destroyed, or killed by disease. But barring those fates, it can theoretically live forever, cycling through maturity and rebirth over and over. These jellyfish drift through the ocean, tiny and translucent, holding a biological secret that scientists are still trying to understand. Immortality, it seems, is not just a myth, it's a strategy. In the deep, time moves differently, and some creatures have learned to rewind it. The Mariana snailfish holds the record for the deepest living fish ever recorded. At depths exceeding 8,000 meters, where pressure is crushing and food is scarce, the Mariana snailfish glides through the water with a body that looks almost ghostly. Pale, translucent, with soft bones and gelatinous tissue, it's perfectly adapted to survive where most fish would be crushed. Its bones are flexible, not rigid. Its cells contain special molecules that prevent proteins from collapsing under pressure. It feeds on tiny crustaceans and amphipods that drift through the trench. This fish doesn't fight the pressure. It becomes it. It bends. It flows. It survives not through strength, but through softness. In the deepest places, rigidity is weakness. Flexibility is life. The ocean has underwater mountains taller than Everest. The Mauna Kea volcano in Hawaii, measured from its base on the ocean floor to its summit, is over 10,000 meters tall, taller than Mount Everest measured from sea level. But Mauna Kea is just one of thousands of seamounts, underwater mountains that some are extinct volcanoes. Others are ridges formed by tectonic activity. These seamounts create habitats for diverse marine life. Currents sweep over them, carrying nutrients upward and creating feeding zones for fish, sharks, and marine mammals. Many seamounts have never been explored. We know they exist from sonar mapping, but what lives on them? What species cling to their slopes? What ecosystems thrive in their shadows? Much of that remains unknown. The ocean floor is not flat. It is mountainous, dynamic, and filled with hidden peaks we may never climb. Some creatures navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Sea turtles, salmon, and certain species of sharks can detect the Earth's magnetic field and use it to navigate across vast distances. They carry an internal compass, a biological GPS that guides them home. Loggerhead sea turtles hatch on beaches, crawl into the ocean, and spend years drifting through open water. But when it's time to reproduce, they return to the exact beach where they were born, sometimes traveling thousands of kilometers to get there. How they do it remains partially mysterious. Some species may have magnetite crystals in their brains. Others may use light-sensitive proteins in their eyes that respond to magnetic fields. But the result is undeniable. The ocean is full of travelers who never get lost, guided by invisible lines of force we can barely detect. Deep-sea gigantism is a real phenomenon. In the deep ocean, many species grow far larger than their shallow water relatives. Giant isopods, which resemble oversized pill bugs, can reach lengths of over 30 centimeters. Giant squid can grow longer than a school bus. Spider crabs have leg spans exceeding 3 meters. This phenomenon, called deep-sea gigantism, may be linked to several factors. Cold temperatures that slow metabolism and extend lifespans. Scarce food that rewards larger body sizes with better energy storage. And high pressure that allows for larger, more efficient cellular structures. The deep ocean is a place where scale shifts, where tiny creatures become giants, where the normal rules of size no longer apply. In the crushing dark, bigness is not a disadvantage. It is a strategy. Some fish have light organs that point downward. Counter-illumination is a camouflage technique used by many midwater fish. These fish have bioluminescent organs on their undersides that produce light matching the faint glow filtering down from the surface. When a predator looks up from below, the fish's silhouette disappears. blending perfectly with the dim light above. Its active camouflage, constantly adjusted to match changing light levels as the fish swims at different depths. The lanternfish is a master of this technique, using its photophores to vanish against the twilight sky above. It becomes invisible, not by hiding in darkness, but by mimicking the light. In the ocean, survival is about more than strength or speed. It's about becoming part of the background, disappearing into the very thing predators use to see. The ocean's deepest trenches are shaped like crescents. Most ocean trenches form at subduction zones, where one tectonic plate slides beneath another. The Mariana Trench, the Tonga Trench, the Japan Trench, all share this curved crescent shape. The deepest point in each trench is not in the center, but at the lowest part of the arc, where the subducting plate bends most sharply into the Earth's mantle. These trenches are some of the most geologically active places on the planet, sites of earthquakes, volcanic activity, and slow, grinding tectonic motion. They are not scars on the ocean floor. They are the places where the Earth renews itself, where old crust is pulled down and recycled, where the planet's slow breathing can be measured in millimeters per year. Bioluminescence evolved independently at least 50 times. Across the tree of life, in bacteria, jellyfish, fish, squid, and countless other organisms, the ability to produce light has evolved separately over and over again. This suggests that bioluminescence is not a fluke, but a powerful evolutionary advantage. In the dark ocean, light is communication, camouflage, attraction, and defense all at once. The chemistry varies. Some species use luciferin and luciferase, others rely on symbiotic bacteria. Still others produce light through entirely different pathways. But the result is the same: a glow in the darkness, a signal, a beacon, a way to exist visibly invisible. The ocean has discovered light again and again, proving that even in the deepest darkness, visibility matters. Some worms build tubes from sand and mucus that last for centuries. Tube worms near hydrothermal vents construct protective casings from minerals and organic compounds secreted by their bodies. These tubes can persist long after the worm inside has died, becoming part of the structure of the vent ecosystem. Other worms, like the giant tube worm Riftia pachyptilla, can grow tubes over 2 meters long, anchoring themselves to the rocky sea floor and extending their red plumes into the chemical-rich water. These worms have no mouth, no digestive system. They rely entirely on symbiotic bacteria in their tissues to convert vent chemicals into nutrients. In the deep, survival looks like partnership, like building a home from your own secretions, like outsourcing digestion to invisible allies. The ocean floor is covered in tracks and trails. If you could walk across the abyssal plains, you would see evidence everywhere of creatures that passed through. Trails carved by sea cucumbers dragging themselves along the sediment. Burrows left by worms and crustaceans. Feeding traces where organisms sifted through mud for organic particles. These traces are preserved in soft sediment, creating a record of movement and behavior. Scientists study them to understand how deep-sea creatures live, what they eat, where they travel. The deep ocean is not a void. It is a landscape marked by the passage of life, etched with signs of activity, written in the language of trails and burrows and feeding scars. Even in darkness, evidence of life remains. Some sharks can live for over 400 years. The Greenland shark, found in the cold, deep waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic, is one of the longest-lived vertebrates on Earth. Recent studies suggest some individuals may live for over 4 centuries. These sharks grow slowly, maturing at around 150 years of age. They move through the water at a glacial pace, conserving energy in the cold depths. A Greenland shark alive today may have been born before the Industrial Revolution, before the founding of many modern nations, swimming through the same cold currents for longer than any human has been alive. In the deep, age is measured differently. Time stretches, and some creatures outlive empires. Certain deep-sea bacteria can survive in boiling water and freezing cold. Thermophilic bacteria near hydrothermal vents thrive in water exceeding 100 degrees Celsius. Psychrophilic bacteria in polar deep waters survive in temperatures just above freezing. Some bacteria can switch between these extremes, entering dormant states when conditions shift and reactivating when favorable conditions return. These microbes are among the toughest organisms on Earth, thriving in environments that would kill almost anything else. They represent the edges of what life can tolerate, the boundaries of chemistry and biology. And they remind us that life is not delicate, it is relentless. The ocean contains mountains of discarded shells. In some regions of the ocean floor, billions of tiny shells accumulate over millennia, forming layers of sediment hundreds of meters thick. These shells come from plankton called foraminifera and pteropods, microscopic organisms that build calcium carbonate skeletons. When they die, their shells drift down, settling in layers that compress over time into limestone and chalk. The white cliffs of Dover are made of ancient marine shells, compressed and lifted above sea level by geological forces. The ocean floor is not just rock. It is the graveyard of trillions of tiny lives, each one adding a microscopic layer to the growing archive of the Earth's history. Some fish produce sounds by vibrating their swim bladders. In the deep ocean, where visual communication is limited, many fish use sound. They produce clicks, grunts, and drumming noises by contracting muscles around their swim bladders, creating vibrations that travel through the water. These sounds serve many purposes: attracting mates, defending territory, coordinating group movements, and possibly even echolocation. The ocean is not silent. It is a soundscape of biological voices, each species contributing its own frequency, its own rhythm, its own message. And beneath it all, the slow rumble of the earth, the hum of currents, the whisper of pressure moving through the deep. Methane seeps on the ocean floor support unique ecosystems. In certain areas, methane gas escapes from the sea floor, bubbling up through cracks and vents. Around these seeps, ecosystems form based on methane-eating bacteria. Mussels, clams, and tube worms hosting these bacteria cluster densely around the seeps, creating oases of life in otherwise barren sediment. These methane seeps are also potential sources of future energy, though extracting the gas is difficult and controversial. The deep ocean holds not just life, but resources. And the question of how we interact with those resources will shape the future of the ocean and the planet. Some creatures can regenerate entire body parts. Starfish, sea cucumbers, and certain worms can regrow lost limbs, organs, or even large portions of their bodies. If a starfish loses an arm, it can grow a new one. Some species can regenerate an entire body from a single arm. This ability is rooted in populations of stem cells that remain active throughout the organism's life, capable of differentiating into any needed tissue. In the deep, where predators are rare but encounters can be violent, the ability to heal and regrow is a powerful survival tool. The ocean is full of creatures that refuse to be broken, that rebuild themselves, that transform injury into resilience. The ocean's color changes with depth. At the surface, the ocean appears blue because water absorbs red wavelengths and scatters blue light. But as you descend, colors disappear one by one. By 200 meters, most natural sunlight is gone. What remains is a deep, dark blue-green, and then, below 600 meters, total blackness. In this blackness, the only colors are those produced by bioluminescence, mostly blues and greens, with rare reds that most creatures cannot see. The ocean is not one color, it is a gradient, a transition from bright blue to midnight black, with every shade in between marking a different world, a different set of rules. Some deep-sea creatures eat only once a year. In an environment where food is scarce and unpredictable, many deep-sea organisms have evolved to survive on extremely low energy intake. They have slow metabolisms, minimal movement, and the ability to store energy for long periods. A deep-sea anglerfish may go months without eating, waiting motionless in the dark until prey wanders close enough to strike. This patience is not a choice, it is necessity, and it shapes every aspect of life in the deep: body structure, behavior, reproduction. Survival is not about abundance, it is about endurance. The Mariana Trench could hold Mount Everest with room to spare. If you placed Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on land, at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be over 2 kilometers below the ocean's surface. This puts the depth of the trench into perspective. It is not just deep, it is deeper than anywhere on land is tall. It represents an environment more extreme than any mountain summit, where pressure replaces the thin air of high altitudes with crushing weight. And yet, life exists there, not struggling, but thriving, adapted, at home. The ocean's depth is not emptiness, it is fullness of a different kind. Some creatures migrate vertically every single day. The largest migration on Earth happens not across continents, but up and down the water column. Every evening, billions of fish, squid, jellyfish, and zooplankton rise from the deep ocean toward the surface to feed. At dawn, they descend again, retreating into darkness to avoid predators that hunt by sight. This diel vertical migration moves more biomass than any other animal movement on the planet. It transports nutrients between ocean layers, influences carbon cycling, and shapes the structure of marine food webs. And it happens every day, unseen, in every ocean, a rhythm as constant as the tides. You are made of the ocean too. Your blood carries salt, the same sodium, potassium, and chloride that fill the sea. Your cells are bathed in fluid that mirrors, in chemical composition, the ancient oceans from which all life emerged. When you cry, your tears taste of salt water. When you sweat, the ocean leaks through your skin. We left the sea millions of years ago, but we carried it with us, in our veins, in our breath. in the rhythm of our hearts, which echo the pulse of tides. You are not separate from the ocean. You are a continuation of it, walking on land, thinking thoughts, but still quietly, full of the same water. The ocean absorbs a quarter of all human carbon emissions. The ocean acts as a massive carbon sink, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in deep water and sediments. This helps slow the pace of climate change, but it comes at a cost. As the ocean absorbs more CO2, it becomes more acidic. This ocean acidification dissolves calcium carbonate, making it harder for corals, shellfish, and plankton to build their skeletons and shells. The ocean is doing us a service by absorbing our emissions, but it cannot do so indefinitely without consequences. And those consequences ripple through ecosystems we depend on, even if we never see them. Some creatures glow to confuse predators. When attacked, many deep-sea organisms release clouds of bioluminescent particles or mucus, creating a glowing decoy. The predator, distracted by the sudden burst of light, strikes at the cloud while the prey escapes into darkness. It's a chemical smokescreen, a brilliant flash that buys seconds of escape time. In the deep, survival is often about misdirection, about making yourself disappear by creating something brighter, more interesting, more immediate. Some species have been discovered only once. The deep ocean is so vast and unexplored that many species are known from only a single specimen, captured decades ago and never seen again. These singleton species raise questions. Are they truly rare or just hard to find? Do they still exist, or have they gone extinct without anyone noticing? The ocean holds mysteries not just of what lives there, but of what may have lived there and disappeared before we ever knew them. Every dive, every expedition carries the possibility of discovery, and the possibility of rediscovery, and the quiet knowledge that much will remain unknown. Deep-sea mining could destroy ecosystems before we even understand them. Companies are developing technologies to extract metal-rich nodules, sulfides, and crusts from the deep ocean floor. These deposits contain valuable metals like cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements. But mining the deep ocean would destroy habitats that took millions of years to form. Species we haven't yet discovered could be wiped out before we even know they exist. The deep ocean is not a resource to be exploited without thought. It is an ecosystem, ancient and interconnected, and once damaged, it may never recover. The choices we make now will determine whether the deep ocean remains a place of mystery and life, or becomes another industrial frontier stripped for profit. Some fish have transparent blood. Ice fish, found in the cold waters around Antarctica, have blood with no red blood cells and no hemoglobin. Their blood is nearly transparent, giving them a ghostly appearance. They survive by absorbing oxygen directly through their skin and gills, aided by the high oxygen content of cold water and their slow metabolism. It's an extreme adaptation to an extreme environment, proof that even the most basic aspects of biology can be radically reimagined. In the deep, there is no single way to live, only countless strategies, each one perfectly suited to its niche. Some creatures eat wood that falls to the ocean floor. When trees are swept into the ocean by floods or storms, they eventually sink, creating islands of organic material on the sea floor. These woodfalls attract specialized organisms that can digest cellulose, a compound most marine life cannot process. Shipworms, despite their name, are actually clams. They bore into waterlogged wood using symbiotic bacteria to break down the fibers into nutrients. Other worms, crustaceans, and fungi colonize the wood, creating miniature ecosystems that can last for decades. In the deep, even wood becomes food. Even forests, long drowned, continue to give life. The deep ocean is one of the quietest places on Earth. Far from shipping lanes, away from coastal activity, in the still depths where sound is absorbed by distance and pressure, the ocean reaches levels of quiet that don't exist on land. No wind, no engines, no voices. Just the faint hum of distant currents and the occasional biological sound. A click, a groan, a pulse. This silence is not empty. It is full. Full of possibility. Full of the absence of distraction. In the deep, silence is not lack. It is presence. Some octopuses use coconut shells as portable shelters. The veined octopus collects discarded coconut shell halves from the sea floor
and uses them as protective armor or mobile shelters. This tool use is rare among invertebrates and demonstrates remarkable problem-solving ability. The octopus plans ahead, transporting shells to use later, sometimes stacking two halves together to create a complete enclosure. Intelligence in the ocean takes many forms. And some of the smartest creatures are soft-bodied, boneless, and hidden in the deep. Some fish can produce electricity. Electric rays, torpedo rays, and other species generate electric fields for navigation, communication, and hunting. They have specialized organs filled with stacks of electrocytes, cells that function like biological batteries. A strong discharge can stun prey or deter predators. Weaker pulses help the fish sense their surroundings in murky or dark water, creating an electric map of the environment. Electricity in the ocean is not just a human tool. It is a biological strategy refined over millions of years. The ocean's deepest point was first reached in 1960. Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh descended to the bottom of the Challenger Deep in a bathyscaphe called the Trieste. They spent 20 minutes at the bottom before ascending, becoming the first humans to witness the deepest part of the ocean. They saw a flatfish-like creature glide past their window, proof that life existed even in the most extreme depths. Decades later, only a handful of others have followed. The journey remains dangerous, expensive, and technologically demanding. But each descent reveals something new. Each visit to the deep expands our understanding of what life can be. Some creatures camouflage by covering themselves with debris. Decorator crabs attach pieces of sponge, algae, and coral to their shells, creating living camouflage that blends perfectly with their surroundings. This behavior is not instinctive decoration, it's strategic survival. The crab selects specific materials that match its environment and attaches them using hooked setae on its carapace. In the deep, survival requires creativity. It requires using the environment itself as a disguise, becoming indistinguishable from the landscape. The ocean floor is constantly shifting. Tectonic plates move at rates of a few centimeters per year, spreading at mid-ocean ridges and colliding at subduction zones. The ocean floor is being created and destroyed in a slow, ongoing cycle.
The oldest oceanic crust is less than 200 million years old, young compared to continental crust, which can be over 4 billion years old. The ocean floor is not permanent. It is dynamic, recycled, constantly renewing itself. In the deep, even stone is temporary. Some jellyfish can clone themselves. Certain species of jellyfish reproduce asexually by budding, creating genetically identical copies of themselves. Under the right conditions, a single jellyfish can spawn an entire population. This allows rapid colonization of new habitats and quick recovery from population declines. In the ocean, survival is not always about sex and genetic diversity. Sometimes it's about making more of yourself, quickly and efficiently. The deep ocean contains rivers of dense water. Where Mediterranean water spills into the Atlantic through the Strait of Gibraltar, it sinks beneath the lighter Atlantic water, forming an underwater river that flows along the ocean floor for hundreds of kilometers. This dense, salty water carries sediment, nutrients, and organisms, creating a dynamic boundary between water masses. The ocean is layered, and those layers move, interact, and shape the flow of life. Some fish have eyes that point in different directions. The barrel-eye fish has tubular eyes that normally point upward, scanning for prey silhouetted against the faint light above. But its eyes can rotate forward when it needs to focus on something directly ahead. This adaptation allows it to maximize light detection while maintaining the ability to target prey when needed. In the deep, vision is not about clarity. It's about capturing every photon, using every scrap of light to survive. Many deep-sea creatures are red or black. In the deep ocean, red light doesn't exist. It's absorbed within the first few meters of descent. As a result, red creatures appear black in the darkness, invisible to most predators. Black pigmentation also helps. Many deep-sea fish and invertebrates are jet black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it, making them nearly impossible to see. Color in the deep is
Invisibility. Some squid can detach their arms to escape predators. When grabbed by a predator, certain squid species can shed an arm, which continues to wriggle and glow, distracting the attacker while the squid escapes. This autotomy, self-amputation, is a last resort survival strategy. The squid can regenerate the lost arm over time, but the immediate survival benefit outweighs the cost. In the deep, survival sometimes means leaving part of yourself behind. The ocean has its own deserts. Vast regions of the open ocean, particularly in the subtropical gyres, are biological deserts. Clear, blue and beautiful, but nearly devoid of life. These areas lack the nutrients needed to support plankton blooms. And without plankton, there is little food for larger organisms. The ocean is not uniformly rich. It has its own empty spaces, its own barren zones. But even in these deserts, life finds a way. Rare, sparse, but present. Some bacteria can live on electricity alone. Certain microbes in the deep ocean don't need organic matter to survive. They extract electrons directly from minerals or metals, using electric currents as their energy source. These bacteria live on the surfaces of rocks, metal structures, and hydrothermal chimneys, surviving on pure energy flow. Life, it seems, does not require food in the traditional sense, only energy, and energy can come from anywhere. The ocean's crust is thinner than the continental crust. Oceanic crust is only about 7 kilometers thick compared to continental crust, which averages 35 kilometers. This thin crust sits atop the mantle, moving and shifting as tectonic forces push and pull. At mid-ocean ridges, magma rises from the mantle, creating new crust. At subduction zones, old crust sinks back down, melting and recycling. The ocean floor is not solid ground. It is a thin skin on a restless planet. Some fish can change sex. Many deep-sea and reef fish are sequential hermaphrodites, starting life as one sex and changing to another based on social or environmental cues. Clownfish are born male and can become female if the dominant female in their group dies. Groupers can switch from female to male as they age. In the ocean, sex is not fixed. It is flexible, strategic, and responsive to need. Some sea stars can regenerate their entire body from a single arm. If a sea star loses an arm, it can regrow it over time. But more remarkably, in some species, the severed arm can grow an entirely new body, creating a clone of the original. This regenerative ability is powered by populations of stem cells that remain active throughout the animal's life. In the ocean, loss is not always permanent. Bodies can rebuild, injuries can heal, and from a single fragment, life can begin again. The ocean's color changes with depth. At the surface, the ocean appears blue because water absorbs red wavelengths and scatters blue light. But as you descend, colors disappear one by one. By 200 meters, most natural sunlight is gone. What remains is a deep, dark blue-green. And then, below 600 meters, total blackness. In this blackness, the only colors are those produced by bioluminescence, mostly blues and greens, with rare reds that most creatures cannot see. The ocean is not one color. It is a gradient, a transition from bright blue to midnight black, with every shade in between marking a different world, a different set of rules. The ocean floor is littered with artifacts from human history. Shipwrecks, lost cargo, discarded fishing gear, and even ancient pottery litter the ocean floor, creating accidental archaeological sites. Some wrecks become artificial reefs, colonized by corals, sponges, and fish. Others sit in cold, dark water, preserved by the lack of oxygen and the stable temperature. The ocean is not just nature. It is also history, memory, and the accumulated traces of human activity. Some deep-sea creatures can survive being frozen. Certain fish and invertebrates produce antifreeze proteins that prevent ice crystals from forming in their tissues, allowing them to survive in sub-zero waters near polar ice. These proteins bind to ice crystals and inhibit their growth, keeping the organism cells liquid even when the surrounding water is freezing. Life in the deep is not about comfort. It's about chemistry, adaptation, and the ability to survive extremes that should be lethal. The ocean's food web starts with the smallest organisms. Phytoplankton, microscopic photosynthetic
Organisms form the base of the ocean's food web. They produce oxygen, fix carbon, and provide food for zooplankton, which in turn feed fish, whales, and countless other species. Without phytoplankton, the ocean would collapse. These tiny, invisible organisms support the entire marine ecosystem. The ocean's strength does not come from its giants. It comes from its smallest, most abundant life. Some worms can survive in sulfuric acid. Near hydrothermal vents, where sulfur-rich water pours into the ocean, certain worms thrive in conditions that would dissolve human tissue. They have specialized adaptations that protect their cells from the corrosive environment, and they partner with bacteria that metabolize sulfur compounds for energy. The ocean is not just extreme in pressure and temperature. It is chemically diverse, and life has adapted to every possible combination of elements. The ocean contains more history than all human records combined. Sediment cores drilled from the ocean floor contain layers of material deposited over millions of years. These layers record climate shifts, volcanic eruptions, meteor impacts, and changes in ocean chemistry. Scientists read these cores like books, deciphering the Earth's history from the microscopic shells, ash layers, and chemical signatures trapped in the mud. The ocean is not just a place. It is an archive, holding the memory of the planet itself. We may never fully explore the ocean's depths, and perhaps that's okay. And now, let the weight of the depths begin to lift. Some creatures in the deep have mouths larger than their bodies. The gulper eel, also known as the pelican eel, has a jaw that can unhinge to swallow prey much larger than itself. Its body is mostly mouth, a vast expandable pouch that balloons outward when it captures food. It drifts through the midnight zone, opening and closing its enormous jaws, filtering the darkness for anything edible. When prey is scarce, it can go weeks or even months without eating, surviving on stored energy. In the deep, where food is rare and unpredictable, bodies become tools of patience. Mouths become nets. Stomachs become storage. Everything is optimized not for abundance, but for scarcity, for waiting, for the rare moment when something drifts within reach. The deepest parts of the ocean are quieter than anywhere on land. Sound travels differently underwater. It moves faster, farther, and with less distortion. But in the abyssal plains, far from shipping lanes and coastal noise, the ocean is almost silent. There are no waves crashing, no wind, no birds. Just the faint hum of distant currents, the occasional click of a shrimp, or the low-frequency calls of whales miles away. It's a silence deeper than any cave, any desert, any mountaintop. A silence that presses in from all sides, vast and unbroken. In that quiet, you could hear your own heartbeat, your own breath, the smallest movement of water around you. The deep ocean is not empty, but it is still. And in that stillness, there is a kind of peace that exists nowhere else on Earth. Some deep-sea fish have teeth so long they can't close their mouths. The viperfish is a small predator with fangs that curve upward, sometimes reaching lengths longer than its own head. Its teeth are so large that they extend outside its mouth, even when its jaws are shut. These fangs are designed to impale prey quickly and hold it tight. In the deep, where encounters are rare, a fish cannot afford to let its meal escape. The viperfish also glows, using bioluminescent photophores along its body to lure prey or communicate with others of its kind. In the crushing dark, evolution has created creatures that seem monstrous by surface standards. But here, they are simply survivors, shaped by pressure, darkness, and scarcity into forms that work. Beauty and terror are not opposites. They are neighbors, separated only by context. Octopuses in the deep can change not only their color, but their texture. The deep-sea octopus can alter its skin to mimic rocks, sand, coral, or even other animals. It does this not with pigment alone, but by reshaping the surface of its skin, raising bumps, smoothing ridges, creating patterns that shift in seconds. This ability is controlled by millions of specialized cells called chromatophores, iridophores, and papillae, all working in concert to create illusions. An octopus can vanish against a rock, then ripple its skin to look like flowing algae. It can pulse with color to startle predators, to blend into the sand. In the deep, where visibility is limited and every encounter could mean death, deception is survival, and the octopus is a master. The ocean's deepest trenches are home to plastic waste and human pollution. In 2019, scientists descended to the Challenger Deep and found something heartbreaking. Plastic bags, candy wrappers, microplastics embedded in the sediment. Even in the most remote, unexplored place on Earth, human activity has left its mark. Creatures at the bottom of the trench have been found with microplastics in their digestive systems. The ocean is vast, but it is not infinite. It is not a void where things disappear. It is a living system, and we are part of it. What we send into the ocean holds. What we discard, it carries. What we ignore, it absorbs. The depths are not untouchable. They are fragile, ancient, and quietly bearing the weight of what we've done. Some deep-sea creatures have no eyes at all. In a world of permanent darkness, eyes become useless, and so many species have lost them entirely. The eyeless shrimp, the blind cusk eel, and countless other organisms navigate by touch, chemical sensing, and vibration. They detect the faint movements of prey through water pressure. They taste the ocean for traces of food. They feel their way through the world with barbels, antennae, and sensitive skin. Sight is not essential. Awareness is. And in the deep, awareness takes many forms. The ocean teaches a strange lesson, that perception is not singular, that there are many ways to know the world, and that darkness, for some, is not a limitation, but a home. Whale falls create entire ecosystems that can last for decades. When a whale dies and sinks to the ocean floor, it becomes a gift. Its massive body, rich with fat, bone, and protein, sustains life for years. First come the scavengers, hagfish, sharks, crabs. They strip the flesh in weeks. Then come the opportunists, worms, snails, and bacteria that feed on the bones and marrow. Finally, the bones themselves are colonized by microbes that extract the last traces of energy, converting lipids and proteins into sulfide. A single whale fall can support over 400 species, some of which exist nowhere else. These ecosystems can persist for 50 years or more, slowly dissolving into the deep. In death, the whale gives life. Its body becomes a reef, a shelter, a source. Even in darkness, even in silence, generosity continues. Some fish sleep with half their brain awake. Certain species of tuna and sharks must keep swimming to breathe, forcing water through their gills. To rest, they enter a state of reduced activity where part of their brain remains alert, monitoring their surroundings and maintaining movement. This is similar to the sleep patterns of dolphins and whales, who surface to breathe even while sleeping. In the ocean, rest is not stillness. It is slowed activity, partial awareness, a compromise between survival and recovery. The ocean floor is covered in trails left by creatures long gone. If you could examine the sediment of the deep ocean floor, you would see tracks and burrows preserved in mud. Some of these traces are recent, left by sea cucumbers and crabs just days ago. Others are ancient, fossilized trails left millions of years ago by creatures now extinct. These trace fossils tell stories of behavior, movement, feeding patterns. They are windows into lives we will never see. The ocean floor is not blank. It is written on, etched with the passage of countless organisms, each one leaving its mark. Some creatures live their entire lives in absolute darkness. From birth to death, many deep-sea organisms never experience light. They are born in darkness, hunt in darkness, reproduce in darkness, and die in darkness. Their world is shaped entirely by pressure, temperature, chemistry, and the faint glow of bioluminescence. Sunlight is irrelevant to them, a phenomenon from another world. And yet, they thrive. They have evolved complete, complex ecosystems without the sun. The deep ocean is proof that life does not need light. It needs only energy, chemistry, and time. The ocean absorbs sound differently than air. In water, sound travels about 4 times faster than in air, and it can travel much farther. Whale songs can cross entire ocean basins, carrying for thousands of kilometers. But sound also behaves strangely at depth. Layers of different temperature and salinity can refract sound as trapped and focused. Submarines use these channels to communicate over long distances. Whales may use them too, broadcasting their songs along invisible highways of sound. The ocean is not silent. It hums, clicks, groans, and sings. And sound is one of the primary ways life navigates, communicates, and survives. The Mariana Trench is not silent. It hums with the sound of earthquakes and shifting plates. Though the deep ocean is quiet to the human ear, it is not without sound. The Mariana Trench sits at the boundary of 2 tectonic plates, and the earth there is restless. Low-frequency rumbles ripple through the water as plates grind and shift. Earthquakes send vibrations across thousands of kilometers. Volcanic activity releases bursts of noise that echo through the trench. These sounds are often below the range of human hearing, but they are constant. The ocean listens to the Earth's movement, carrying its whispers across vast distances. In the deep, the planet is alive, and the ocean is its voice. We may never fully explore the ocean's depths, and perhaps that's okay. Despite technology, funding, and curiosity, the deep ocean remains largely unknown. The cost, danger, and sheer difficulty of reaching these places means that much will remain unexplored for generations, perhaps forever. And maybe that's not a failure. Maybe it's a reminder that some mysteries are meant to endure, that the unknown is not an absence, but a presence, that wonder requires a horizon we can never fully cross. The ocean keeps its secrets, but in trying to learn them, we grow more curious, more humble, more aware of how small we are in a world far larger and stranger than we knew. The depths are not a problem to solve. They are a place to wonder. And wonder is its own kind of knowledge. Some deep-sea fish glow red in a world where red light doesn't exist. Most bioluminescence in the ocean is blue or green, wavelengths that travel well through water. But a few species produce red light, invisible to most deep-sea creatures. The stoplight loosejaw fish has red bioluminescent organs beneath its eyes, acting like night vision goggles. It can see red light that its prey cannot, allowing it to hunt in what is, to them, complete darkness. It's a private channel of vision, a secret frequency in a world of blue glow. The fish becomes an invisible hunter, watching without being seen, moving through shadows only it can perceive. In the deep, survival often means seeing what others cannot, or remaining unseen while watching everything. The ocean contains underwater rivers and waterfalls. Beneath the waves, where water meets water, differences in temperature and salinity create boundaries as distinct as air meeting land. These boundaries form underwater rivers, dense currents of cold, salty water, flowing along the ocean floor like separate streams. In some places, these flows cascade over underwater cliffs, creating waterfalls that tumble through the sea itself. The largest known underwater waterfall is between Greenland and Iceland, where cold water plunges nearly 3.5 kilometers down. No one can see these waterfalls with the naked eye. They're invisible from the surface, hidden in gradients of density and temperature. But they move vast quantities of water, shaping currents, distributing nutrients, connecting distant ecosystems. The ocean contains rivers within itself, falls within falls, worlds layered upon worlds. Glass sponges can live for thousands of years. In the cold, stable environment of the deep sea, some organisms age so slowly they seem almost immortal. Glass sponges, delicate structures made of silica, can live for over 10,000 years. They grow at a glacial pace, adding fractions of a millimeter each year. Their skeletons, intricate lattices of glassy fibers, accumulate slowly over centuries, creating structures both beautiful and ancient. These sponges filter tiny particles from the water, capturing bacteria and organic matter in their porous bodies. They don't move, don't hunt, don't flee. They simply exist, patient and enduring, as currents drift past and millennia fold into one another. Time in the deep ocean is measured differently. A human lifetime is a blink. A sponge's life spans the rise and fall of civilizations. Some creatures in the deep have bacteria living inside their eyes. The flashlight fish has pockets beneath its eyes filled with bioluminescent bacteria. These bacteria glow
the fish can
continuously
control
by covering and uncovering the pockets with specialized membranes. The relationship is symbiotic. The bacteria gain shelter and nutrients. The fish gains a built-in light source for hunting, communication, and navigation. At night, flashlight fish emerge from caves and crevices, their eyelights blinking in patterns. They use these signals to find mates, confuse predators, and coordinate with others in their school. In the deep, survival often requires partnership. Lone organisms struggle. But those who carry light within them, who share their glow with tiny, unseen allies, can thrive even in darkness. The deep ocean has its own lakes and pools. On the ocean floor, in certain regions, there are pools of brine, water so salty and dense it doesn't mix with the surrounding seawater. These brine pools sit like lakes within the ocean, complete with shorelines and waves. The boundaries are sharp. Fish can swim above them, looking down at what appears to be a separate body of water. Some creatures that enter these pools die almost immediately from the extreme salinity and toxic chemicals. But others thrive at the edges, feeding on the microbes and organic matter that collect there. Mussels cluster along the shores. Amphipods dart in and out of the brine, testing the limits of their tolerance. These underwater lakes are strange pockets of extremity, ecosystems within ecosystems, reminders that the ocean is not uniform but layered with variation, danger, and opportunity. Zombie worms can dissolve bone. When a whale carcass sinks to the ocean floor, it doesn't stay intact forever. Among the scavengers that arrive are Osedax worms, often called zombie worms or bone-eating worms. These worms bore into the bones of dead whales, secreting acid to dissolve the mineral matrix and extract lipids trapped inside. They have no mouth, no stomach. Instead, they rely on symbiotic bacteria living in their tissues to digest the bone material for them. Female Osedax can grow to several centimeters long, their red plumes waving in the current. Males are microscopic, living inside the female's tubes, existing only to reproduce. In the deep, even death is a resource. Even bones become food. Nothing is wasted, and life finds a way to consume what seems inedible. Some jellyfish drift deeper than the Mariana Trench. Jellyfish are among the most adaptable creatures in the ocean, found at every depth from surface waters to the hadal zone, the deepest regions of the trenches. In the hadal zone, jellyfish drift through pressures exceeding 1,000 atmospheres, their gelatinous bodies perfectly suited to environments that would crush rigid organisms. They pulse gently, almost invisibly, through the blackness. Translucent, fragile-looking, yet resilient enough to exist where few others can. Jellyfish don't fight the ocean. They move with it, their bodies more water than substance. their survival rooted in softness and adaptability. In the deepest places on Earth, where strength fails, flexibility endures. The ocean floor is covered in ancient manganese nodules. Scattered across the abyssal plains are strange potato-sized lumps of metal-rich rock called manganese nodules. They form over millions of years, layer by microscopic layer, as dissolved metals precipitate around a small nucleus, like a shell fragment or shark tooth. These nodules grow at a rate of a few millimeters per million years. Some are older than 50 million years, lying untouched on the sea floor, accumulating metal in near total darkness. Mining companies have eyed these nodules for their valuable metals, but removing them would destroy ecosystems that have existed for eons, habitats we barely understand. The deep ocean is not empty, it is ancient, and the things that grow there do so on timescales we can barely comprehend. Some fish have antifreeze proteins in their blood. In the coldest parts of the ocean, near polar ice sheets, and in the deepest trenches where temperatures hover just above freezing, some fish have evolved a remarkable adaptation. Their blood contains proteins that prevent ice crystals from forming, even when the surrounding water temperature drops below the normal freezing point of their bodily fluids. These antifreeze proteins bind to tiny ice crystals and stop them from growing, keeping the fish's blood liquid and their cells intact. It's a quiet molecular miracle, a chemical shield against the cold, allowing life to persist where it should.
Freeze solid. The ocean teaches again and again, there is no environment too harsh for life, only conditions life has not yet learned to navigate. Hagfish can tie themselves into knots. The hagfish is a strange eel-like creature with a skull but no jaw, a brain but no true vertebrae. When threatened or feeding on a carcass, it ties its body into a knot and slides the knot along its length. This serves multiple purposes. It can use the knot to gain leverage, scraping flesh from dead animals. It can also use it to escape from the grip of predators or to clean slime off its own body. Hagfish produce astonishing amounts of slime when disturbed, releasing sticky threads that can clog the gills of attacking fish. The knot helps them wipe this slime away, sliding it off like a squeegee. In the deep, survival requires creativity. Bodies become tools, movement becomes strategy, and even the strangest adaptations make perfect sense in context. The ocean's oxygen minimum zones are expanding. In certain regions of the ocean, at depths between 200 and 1,000 meters, oxygen levels drop so low that most animals cannot survive. These are called oxygen minimum zones, or OMZs. Climate change and warming waters are causing these zones to expand. As the ocean heats, it holds less dissolved oxygen, and the boundaries of these low oxygen regions creep outward and upward. Creatures that once thrived in certain areas are being pushed out. Fish migrations are shifting. Entire ecosystems are compressing into narrower, habitable bands. The deep ocean is not static. It is changing, and the changes we cause on the surface ripple down into the darkness, altering worlds we've never even seen. Some shrimp colonies farm bacteria on their bodies.
Yeti crabs, found near hydrothermal vents, have hairy claws covered in filamentous bacteria. These crabs wave their claws in the chemical-rich water flowing from the vents, cultivating the bacteria like a garden. The bacteria feed on the vent chemicals, growing thick mats along the crab's arms. The crab then scrapes the bacteria off and eats them, farming its own food source in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. It's a relationship of mutual benefit. The bacteria gain access to nutrients. The crab gains a sustainable food supply in a place where other food is scarce. In the deep, survival often looks like partnership, like tending invisible gardens on your own skin, like transforming poison into nourishment. The deep ocean hums with the songs of whales. Though the deepest parts of the trench are beyond the reach of most marine mammals, the ocean as a whole is filled with sound. Whale songs travel for hundreds, sometimes thousands of kilometers through deep water. Blue whales produce calls at frequencies so low they're felt more than heard. Vibrations that ripple through the ocean like silent thunder. Humpback whales sing complex, repeating patterns that change over time, evolving like slow aquatic music. These songs serve many purposes: attracting mates, coordinating movement, maintaining contact across vast distances. And they fill the ocean with a kind of presence, a reminder that even in darkness and silence, there is communication, connection, life reaching out to life. The deep is not empty. It is full of voices we are only beginning to hear. Corals in the deep ocean can live in complete darkness. We often think of coral reefs as sun-drenched shallows, vibrant and warm. But corals also thrive in the deep, far beyond the reach of light. Cold water corals build massive reef structures in the North Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and other deep regions. They grow without photosynthesis, feeding instead on plankton and organic particles drifting down from above. These reefs provide shelter for fish, crabs, and countless invertebrates. They grow slowly, sometimes only a few millimeters per year, and can live for thousands of years. Deep-sea corals are fragile and rarely seen. They exist in the cold and dark, building intricate structures that rival tropical reefs in complexity, if not color. The ocean's creativity is not limited to light. Even in darkness, beauty unfolds. You carry the ocean's memory in your cells. Your body's internal chemistry mirrors the ocean from which all life emerged billions of years ago. The concentration of salt in your blood, the balance of potassium and sodium, the rhythms of your cellular processes, all echo the ancient seas. When life first crawled onto land, it carried the
ocean inside. And we still do. Every tear, every drop of sweat, every beat of your heart pulses with that same saline signature. You are not separate from the ocean. You are a continuation of it, walking on land, breathing air, but still fundamentally made of water and salt and ancient memory. The ocean is not just out there, it is in you. Some creatures glow when touched. Many bioluminescent organisms produce light only when disturbed. A passing fish, a swirl of current, a predator's touch, all can trigger a flash of light. This phenomenon, called bioluminescent defense, serves to startle predators or attract even larger predators to the attacker, creating a distraction that allows a glowing creature to escape. Dinoflagellates, tiny plankton, are famous for this. When waves crash at night or a swimmer moves through the water, they light up in brilliant blue-green bursts, painting the sea with living light. In the deep, light is not constant, it is reactive, a response, a language of flashes and warnings, spoken in the briefest moments of contact. The deepest fish ever recorded was found at over 8,000 meters. The Mariana snailfish holds the record for the deepest living fish ever recorded, filmed at a depth of over 8,000 meters in the Mariana Trench. At that depth, pressure exceeds 800 atmospheres. Steel would buckle, air would compress into liquid, and yet, this small pale fish glides through the water with a body that looks almost ghostly. Its bones are flexible, not rigid. Its cells contain special molecules that prevent proteins from collapsing under pressure. It feeds on tiny crustaceans and amphipods that drift through the trench. This fish doesn't fight the pressure, it becomes it. It bends, it flows, it survives not through strength, but through softness. In the deepest places, rigidity is weakness. Flexibility is life. Some octopuses brood their eggs for over 4 years. In the deep sea, where food is scarce and conditions are harsh, reproduction is a slow, deliberate process. One species of deep-sea octopus was observed guarding her eggs for 4.5 years, the longest known egg brooding period of any animal. During this time, she didn't eat. She didn't hunt. She simply stayed, fanning water over her eggs to keep them oxygenated, protecting them from predators. By the time the eggs hatched, she was emaciated, barely alive. She died shortly after her offspring emerged, her life's purpose fulfilled in that single patient act. In the deep, parenthood is not quick. It is endurance. It is sacrifice, measured in years, in stillness, in the slow unfolding of life. The ocean's deepest vents host life that doesn't need oxygen. Most life on Earth depends on oxygen, either directly through respiration or indirectly through ecosystems built on oxygen-using organisms. But near hydrothermal vents, there are microbes that thrive without it. These anaerobic bacteria use sulfur, methane, and other chemicals from the vents to generate energy. They are some of the most ancient forms of life on Earth, descendants of organisms that existed billions of years ago, before oxygen filled the atmosphere. They live in scalding water, in toxic chemical plumes, in conditions that would kill almost anything else. And they thrive. Life, it seems, does not require the conditions we think of as essential. It only requires chemistry, energy, and time. Some deep-sea creatures have no pigment at all. In the deep, where there is no light, color becomes irrelevant. Many fish, shrimp, and other organisms are completely transparent or ghostly white, lacking the pigments that give shallow water creatures their vibrant hues. This transparency serves as camouflage. In a world where predators rely on bioluminescence to spot prey, a transparent body scatters less light, making the creature nearly invisible. But it also gives these animals an eerie, otherworldly appearance. You can see through their skin to their bones, their organs, the rhythmic pulse of their hearts. In the deep, beauty is not about colour. It's about form, function, and the strange elegance of adaptation. The ocean contains more gold than all the world's mines combined. Dissolved in seawater, spread across the vastness of the ocean, there are approximately 20 million tons of gold. That's more gold than has ever been mined from the Earth's crust. But it's diluted to unimaginable degrees. Roughly 13 billionths of a gram per litre of seawater. Extracting it would cost far more than the gold is worth. And so it remains, uncollected, drifting in the currents, part of the ocean's silent wealth. A reminder that the sea holds more than we can take, more than we can even measure. The ocean is not a vault. It is a vastness that contains everything, including treasures we will never touch. Some creatures in the deep have been unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. The chambered nautilus, the horseshoe crab, the coelacanth. These are often called living fossils, species that have remained remarkably similar to their ancient ancestors. The deep ocean, stable in temperature and pressure over geological timescales, provides an environment where change is slow. If an organism is well adapted to its niche, there is little pressure to evolve. These creatures are windows into the past, swimming through the same darkness their ancestors swam through when dinosaurs walked the land, when continents were arranged differently, when the world above was unrecognizable. In the deep, time is patient, and some forms of life are perfect enough to endure unchanged across eons. Brine pools can preserve organic material for millennia. The extreme salinity and lack of oxygen in deep-sea brine pools create conditions where decomposition slows to a near halt. Organic material that sinks into these pools can be preserved for thousands of years. Researchers have found ancient wood, shells, and even intact bodies of organisms that fell into these pools long ago and were essentially pickled by the brine. These pools are time capsules, holding fragments of the ocean's history in stasis, waiting to be discovered. In the deep, even decay can pause. Even death can be held in suspension, neither fully present nor fully gone. The ocean's twilight zone is the largest ecosystem on Earth by volume. The mesopelagic zone, also called the twilight zone, stretches from 200 to 1,000 meters below the surface. It's a vast, dimly lit layer of the ocean, home to more fish than all other ocean zones combined. Billions of tons of fish migrate through this zone every day, rising toward the surface at night to feed and descending back into darkness at dawn. This daily migration is the largest movement of animals on the planet, and yet we know very little about it. The species that live here, the food webs that sustain them, the role they play in global carbon cycles, all remain largely mysterious. The twilight zone is not some distant exotic place. It's right beneath us, and it is teeming with life we are only beginning to understand. Some fish can walk on the ocean floor. The frogfish, the handfish, and several species of anglerfish don't swim in the traditional sense. Instead, they use modified pectoral fins to walk along the seafloor, gripping rocks and coral with limb-like appendages. This adaptation allows them to move slowly and deliberately, conserving energy in an environment where food is unpredictable. They can perch, wait, and ambush prey without expending the energy required for constant swimming. In the deep, where every calorie counts, movement becomes deliberate. Bodies become versatile. And what looks clumsy on land becomes perfectly suited to survival in the dark. The ocean is getting darker as the surface warms. Climate change is not just warming the ocean's surface, it's altering how light penetrates the water. As the surface heats, it creates a more stable, stratified layer, reducing mixing between surface and deeper waters. This stratification limits the upwelling of nutrients and changes the distribution of phytoplankton, which in turn affects light absorption. In some regions, the ocean is becoming darker at shallower depths, shifting the boundaries of ecosystems. The twilight zone may be moving upward. Creatures adapted to certain light levels may need to migrate or adapt. Entire food webs may shift. The changes we make on land ripple through the ocean in ways we are only beginning to predict. Some deep-sea fish have stomachs that can expand to swallow prey larger than themselves. The black swallower is a small, unremarkable-looking fish until it eats. Its stomach can distend to accommodate prey more than twice its own size, bulging grotesquely as it digests its meal, over days or even weeks. In the deep, where encounters with food are rare, the ability to consume and store large meals is essential. These fish don't know when they'll eat again, so when they find food, they take everything they can. It's an extreme adaptation to an extreme environment. And it's a reminder that survival in the deep requires not just finding food, but making the most of every rare opportunity. Life in the deep finds a way, even in the harshest conditions. Extremophiles thrive in boiling vent water. Snailfish glide through pressures that would crush steel. Jellyfish pulse in darkness. Tube worms grow without sunlight. Life does not wait for ideal conditions. It adapts, it bends, it transforms. It survives by becoming something new, something unexpected, something perfectly suited to the impossible. And in that persistence, there is something deeply, quietly hopeful. That even in the darkest, coldest, most crushing places, existence continues. That life is not fragile, but endlessly inventive. You carry that same resilience in your cells, in your breath, in your ability to adapt, endure, and continue, even when the pressure feels unbearable. The deep ocean is not separate from you. It is a mirror, reflecting back the truth that survival is not about strength alone. It's about transformation. The ocean is full of sounds we cannot hear. Much of the ocean's soundscape exists below or above the range of human hearing. Whales communicate in infrasound, frequencies so low they travel across entire ocean basins. Shrimp and fish produce ultrasonic clicks and pulses we can only detect with specialized equipment. The ocean is constantly humming, clicking, groaning and singing in ways we are only beginning to understand. Each sound carries information, territory, mating calls, warnings, navigation cues. And beneath all of it, there is the deep, low rumble of the earth itself. Tectonic plates shifting, underwater landslides, the slow creak of the planet's crust. The ocean is not silent. It is full of voices. We just need to listen in ways we're not used to. Some creatures produce light without heat. Bioluminescence is cold light, produced through chemical reactions that release almost no heat. This is unlike fire or electric bulbs, which waste much of their energy as warmth. The efficiency of bioluminescence approaches 100%. Nearly all the energy goes into light, not heat. This allows deep-sea creatures to glow without wasting precious energy or raising their body temperature in the cold depths. It's a perfect system, evolved over millions of years. Light without warmth, visibility without waste, communication without cost. In the deep, where energy is scarce, efficiency is survival. And now, let the weight of the depths begin to lift. We've descended through sunlit shallows and twilight zones, past bioluminescent hunters and eyeless wanderers, down to the crushing silence of the Mariana Trench. We've seen creatures that glow, creatures that vanish, creatures that live forever. We've felt the pressure that should make life impossible and yet found it teeming, patient and strange. You've heard of whale falls and hydrothermal vents, of plastic in the trench and the hum of shifting plates, of fish with transparent heads and octopuses that change their skin like thoughts. And through it all, a quiet truth remains. The ocean is vast. It is mysterious. It is alive in ways we are still learning to see. You are part of this story too. Your body is mostly water. The same water that fills the trenches, that rises in tides, that drifts as marine snow through the midnight zone. Every breath you take was once part of the ocean. Every drop of sweat, every tear. You are salt and fluid and rhythm, shaped by the same forces that shape the deep. The ocean is not out there. It is in you, in your veins, in your cells, in the quiet pulse that keeps you alive. You are a continuation of the same mystery that lives in the trench. A question the ocean is still asking itself. So wherever you are now, let yourself rest. Let the pressure ease. Let your thoughts drift like marine snow, soft and slow, settling gently into stillness. The ocean began, or it didn't. The trenches hold secrets, or they don't. It doesn't matter tonight. What matters is that you are here, now, breathing, alive in a world that is real enough to hold you. And that is its own kind of miracle. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and watch the next chapter now. And if you'd like to drift off to more stories like this, softly told and filled with wonder, consider subscribing. There's always more to explore, one sleepy soul at a time. Sleep well, and thank you for dreaming with us. Good night.